I'm El Stupidio. Hello, SCE. Good morning, Stone Reaper. Tom Laundry is here. Yeah, okay, we're getting off to a fine start, aren't we? Yes, Mile High Ronin. Hello, Stone Reaper again in the building. Yeah, I was using my Microsoft Bluetooth headphones for the little Jamarama Ding Dong that Brandon does his live stream, and because it's easier because I can move around. Now I'm using the real microphone, but I forgot to switch it in the tool, and we're good. You can hear me now, though, right? Good. Anyway, so I'm being lazy this morning, as I am every morning, that I can get away with it. And I ran across this video. Let's see, who is the person? Runaway Siren. I spelled it wrong. It's Runaway Siren, not Sirer. I'm a dumbass. Anyway, links in the links in the description. If you want to go look. Anyway, this little sweetheart, this little fembot is going to debunk the MRA. You're not, hamster gentlemen? Hi. We're not. You're not okay? What's the matter? You sick? Or what's going on? We can see, but we can talk about it. I hope everything's going to be all right. Anyway, so I ran across this little female. Now, it's probably my OCD. But you'll see here in a minute, you don't really want to put people down, but she's not a very good driver. Not a good driver. And you'll see why here in a minute. Okay, so let's get this shit show on the road. If I can find my windows here. Where did it go? Okay. There's a StreamYard window. And where's my other window? Hold on 1 second. I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry. Let's see. Where is it? Where's the real video? All right, there we go. All right, here we go. It starts off with Cassie J. But since we've heard a lot about Cassie J and her Red Pill movie, so I'm sure we've all heard this speech before, so we're going to skip it. Let's go.
Why don't you talk about men?
Yeah.
It may be phrased differently, presented in faux sincerity or in accusatory tones, but anytime a woman discusses feminism, the question nonetheless arises.
Now,
anytime a
sweetheart,
woman
excuse me.
suggests focusing
Hold
on
on.
women
Whoa. Hold on.
issues with that.
Yeah, this. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's the deal, sweetheart. Whatever your name is, runaway, whatever. Because feminism is for everyone. Didn't you get the memo? Feminism is for men too. That's what we're being told, sweetie. That's what we're being constantly told. No. It's not just for women, it's for men too. You just said it isn't, didn't you? Did you not get the memo? Or are you one of these particular kinds of fembots? Anyway, notice her driving.
There are men out there who are suffering too, as if we are not allowed to mitigate the suffering of women until all men are happy first.
Nobody says that. Nobody points that out in the men's rights atmosphere, men's rights movement active. They don't say that. That's not what they're saying. You know that's not what they're saying. What these men are saying is that, hey, women have these troubles. It looks like a lot of the systems are in place to solve and help with those problems. You're forgetting about men, because men also have issues they have to deal with. So it's not like we want to take something away from the chicks. We're saying, whoa, you got half the population here and you don't give a flying fuck. Right? Now, in case you don't know what a Gish Gallop is, she didn't want to shut up because I know I was being a misogynist there, SE. I know, I'm terrible. A Gish Gallop is where someone throws so many facts at you that you cannot possibly debunk any of them. It's a huge wall of nonsense coming at you. Now, I will give her credit. She did list her sources in her video. If you want to go look at the sources, they're there. I looked through a few of them, and some of them seem less applicable than perhaps she believes. But let's continue. Go on.
Men's rights activists, they call themselves, positioning high suicide rates, unhappy marriages, and general oppression at the feet of feminists.
No. 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 These men are not blaming feminism per se. They're saying that the feminist movement, they got all this stuff done for women. Now we've got men having bigger issues maybe than perhaps before, or they're becoming more aware, and nobody seems to give a shit. You see, that's you see the game she's playing already? Well, you're blaming feminism for no. No. We can blame feminism for a lot of things, but that's not one of them. Okay.
As if we are activism nannies meant to care for everyone and everything in need of change instead of focusing on our own goal of women's liberation.
Women's liberation is the goal. Okay, liberate you from what exactly? What rights do you not have in the West? Oh, but there are women in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. You're driving in, looks like Pennsylvania or New York or somewhere. You're not living there. You're living here. And we still have a feminist movement in the United States claiming you're still oppressed, which is a fucking lie. It is a lie. Okay? Go on.
Quite simply, all of the so-called men's problems are either the consequence of working towards equality for women.
The consequence of working towards equality for women. Okay. What kind of equality are we talking about here? I think we got got this one figured out, don't we, boys? Mm-hmm. Equality of outcome, right? Of course, because you got equality, you got equal rights. So you just don't have enough CEOs. Is that it? You don't have enough female college professors. So we got to equalize that somehow, right? Dr. R.P. Pope is in the building. Hello. Super Turbo Death Shark is here. Mile High Ronan says, good morning, Douglas. Good morning, Douglas. Hello. Tim Elgato is here. Okay, let's continue.
The impact of the patriarchy.
Oh, yeah, the Spearman. All this shit is frustrating. I know. As I discussed last night, I mean, how many times can we, as men or RP, Crimson Caps, or whatever, talk about this shit? Nobody listens. You can point out all the hypocrisy and the contradictions and all of the bullshit. Nobody cares. Nobody in a position of power cares anyway, because we have a uniparty and they're all going to vie for the female vote. Quality of outcome is equity, SCE. That's exactly right. Equality has been had for a long time. Now they're going for equal outcome. Correcto.
Which is similar to the recoil on a gun hurting the hand that fires it. Or they're not really problems at all.
I see. Blame the patriarchy. Okay.
Well, some may argue that men's issues should also be addressed in discussions of feminism. It's important to understand why these issues are not the purview of women's liberation.
Okay, so then let the men's rights guys talk about them. You still have problems with them too, huh? Men should just shut the fuck up, right? Feminism isn't going to stand up for men, and these men's rights guys are all evil Nazis, so what are you saying? You're simply saying you don't give a fuck about the problems that men are dealing with in this country, right? Is that kind of where you're going?
Often, when the discussion around equal rights raises the ire of the oppressed class, someone mentions that equal rights are not pie. In other words, by allowing others to be treated with respect, dignity, and equality, it will not detrimentally affect the oppressor class.
Now, talk to me about having a certain number of females on a board of directors, for example, or a certain number of females in Congress. That's a fixed pie, right? They don't make more board members because they want more women. They remove other people to put the women in there. So that is a fixed pie, my dear. Go on.
This is a form of bartering meant to prevent discontent, and yet, while it may sound like a pithy and interesting line, it is categorically untrue. In an unequal world, the oppressor class holds power over the oppressed.
Obviously, she's been reading up on her Karl Marx, eh? We got ourselves a fully indoctrinated Marxist feminist here. Isn't that nice?
They have the power to oppress others, receive certain privileges and rights that others do not.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but obviously women are oppressed. You know that. Come on.
Those rights come at the expense of others, and so, in order for equality to occur, must be taken away.
Uh-huh.
For example, when the civil rights movement occurred, it took away the right of white people to mistreat and take advantage of non white people.
Yeah, well, most white people were not mistreating black people before the Civil Rights Act. But go on ahead and live in your fucking fantasy world. Go on, live that way.
Women's liberation seeks to take away the rights men have to treat women as inferior.
The rights that men have to treat women as inferior. Who fucking believes that men have the right under the law to treat women as inferior? No one. What fantasy world is this person living in? Serious. It's a serious question. Where does she live? Which planet does she live on? Because it certainly cannot be this one.
As objects and as property.
Objects and property. Property, yeah. Treat women like property. Right.
In order to achieve equality, the oppressor class must give up some privileges and opportunities because they rely on the oppression and suffering of another class to fulfill them.
I see. So you are saying take away some of the rights of men because it's obvious you got to. Rusty Rivers, hello. Morning, Captain Crunch.
As a result, there has been a shift in the way that men are treated, which many have been unhappy with.
Oh, Stone, you haven't heard nothing yet. it gets a whole lot worse. I'm not going to go the whole 30 minutes. It's her video's 30 minutes. It would take us hours, right? But I mean, that's the problem when we get to. She hasn't Gish galloped a lot yet, but she's going to. She's going to pull out statistics and like a machine gun. Well, it would take you hours to debunk this shit, going through her documentation. Most people don't have time for that. That's why Gish Gallop is used by people like this. And not just feminists, other people as well. You know, Ben Shapiro's good at that too, by the way.
Men are dying, and they're dying from this condition. And the condition they're dying from is being hated, being discriminated against. In a sense, if you look at the figures of men who lose their homes, their families, their children, and most of them, 90% of those homeless men are there as a result of domestic violence. They've been kicked out, they've been lost. We look at that, I think it's a form of genocide. I really do. I can't see anywhere in history when women have turned on men like this, men as who are the protectors, men who are out working. 75% of taxes are paid by men who are there, and they are working for their wives, their children, and their families. Any man
and to support the welfare state
who knows that there are accusations against him knows he will probably lose his job. If he has children, he has to move out of his house. This is only allegations, no evidence. Has to move out of his house, and it'll take over a year before there'll be any kind of a court case. The woman, and it's 99.9%, it's women who are making these allegations. These women get paid from the moment she makes the allegation with no evidence, can hand out up to $500,000.
Now, I'm sure Little Miss Marxist here has no idea who Aaron Pizzi is, right? We'll go through a brief history after I say some hellos. Let's see. Night Vision Goggles is in the building. The name of this person, SCE, is something like, oh, shit. What is it? Oh, God. Hold on a minute. I'll get it for you. The link's in the description. Okay, what's this person's name? Runawaysiren940. So I'll put a link here for you guys to. I mean, her comments are open, so that's good. At least she's allowing some dissent, and she has her sources cited. So I mean, yeah, more normally you don't get as much from the feminists. Okay, let's go back. Notice anything about her driving yet? Does anything jump out to you? This is the United States, and she seems to be driving in the left lane a lot.
One example of this can be seen in the complaint that women are monopolizing higher education.
Okay, let me just do the Aaron Pizzi. Aaron Pizzi, she put her life on the line literally back in the early 1970s in England. She noticed that during domestic violence, a lot of times men were also victims. So she wanted to open up a shelter for male victims of domestic violence. And the terrorist fembots tried to bomb her, send her bombs in the mail, put her life in danger. I believe they killed one of her dogs. I mean, these people are fucking crazy. And that was 50 some years ago. Okay. It's only gotten worse, guys. only gotten worse.
With higher enrollment in college, better performance in academia, and higher graduation rates. How to plan about these statistics? I need to forget that until the mid-20th century, most higher education was banned for women.
That is absolutely not true. That is a flat-out fucking lie. Most people didn't go to college because it was more of an upper class situation rather than a sex-based discrimination. You're lying. You're absolutely lying. But again, she's an indoctrinated bot. She didn't know any better. Zombro is here. Hello. Yeah, it could be Florida, yeah. It could be Florida. I'm not sure. I noticed there was a town called Pulaski on a road sign back. So wherever that might be. Michigan, who knows?
And what education was offered was often viewed as marriage, hence the term MRS degree.
And it was true for a lot of women. They wanted to meet a guy at college and have babies. That's seriously. Oh, wah, some women wanted to get married. Oh my God.
The exclusion of women from higher education was viewed as justification for—
It wasn't exclusion. And men are not complaining about the difference between men and women in college today. They're pointing it out in light of this whole equality bullshit that feminism says they're all about. If they were about equality, they'd say, well, yeah, you're right. We got to get 10% more men in college and 10% less females. You see.
For stereotypes about gender and intelligence, a theme recognized as far back as Mary Wollstonecraft's Vindication for the Rights of Women.
Mary Wollstonecraft, the rights for the— when was that written? Was that like 1790s, early 1800s? Yeah. Let's reference something from 200 years ago. Before women actually, or most men didn't have any rights either. But go ahead.
Where she argued, men complain with reason about the follies and whims of our sex, except sharply satirize our heads and groveling vices. Unstable, and the current will run with destructive fury where there are no barriers to break its force.
The current will run with fury when there's no barriers. Well. I wonder if Mary Wollstonecraft was in support of feminism or not in support of feminism. I'm just saying.
Or in other words, women behave as is socially demanded for them to do so, not because of inborn restraints or predilections.
Right. Big words. Go ahead.
That women have only recently illustrated—
Mr. Hemi 4-Speed. Hello. Hello. Big Tal Infinium is here too.
Intellectual prowess in higher education is not because of affirmative action, lesser standards, being treated more kindly, or because of so-called female privilege, but rather because the playing field has finally opened up to women.
Okay. Listen carefully to what she has coming up. I don't know what this guy's on. I'll let him play, but he doesn't make any sense.
Men, how do you feel if a woman does better than you at something? Are you more likely to sexualize that person?
I'd be surprised. Oh, you woman hater, you.
By the way, this is not—
Maybe Timothy Sokol is here. Hello, Tim.
My daughter waking up from a nap. In one of the more interesting studies I came across in my PhD research, participants were asked to do some tests.
Oh, yeah. What she said was absolute bullshit, Tim. You're right. Absolutely correct.
On a computer where they were paired up with a woman named Jessica, except Jessica didn't exist, but they didn't know that. Half of the men were told that Jessica did better than them. The other half were told that they did better than Jessica.
I mean, they must give out PhDs for almost nothing these days.
Here's where it gets interesting, because after they were told those results, they were then asked to select an avatar to represent Jessica. And if they were outperformed by the woman, they were more likely to select—
What are you up to, Easy, by the way? Are you dining again at Ruth's Chris and having scotch and wine or whatever?
Avatar here with less clothing. But it gets more complex than that, because that only happens some of the time.
Right.
Generally, the men who were outperformed by Jessica had feelings of public discomfort afterwards. But only if that public discomfort then led to anger did they select avatars with less clothing.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas for the men who had public discomfort, but it didn't lead to anger, they actually selected avatars with more clothing. So how do you interpret these results? The authors of the study believed that by selecting avatars with less clothing, it was a way for those men who felt threatened to gain back a sense of power.
That men are failing in academia is only proof of their own mediocrity and lack of academic progress.
Okay, did you hear what you just said? I want you to listen to it again, and I want you to keep it in mind. I don't know what that guy's smoking, Tim. He's got some good stuff. Kay's a Fox, hello. Listen carefully.
That men are failing in academia is only proof of their own mediocrity and lack of academic progress.
Okay, so the fact that men are failing in academia is due to their mediocrity. Okay, keep that phrase in mind. She just said that about men. Let's continue.
It's important to note that positions of power in academia still skew white and male. Women in higher education are still primarily learning from male faculty. Men also dominate in receiving tenure, promotions, and upwards mobility within these institutions.
I mean, is she talking about like engineering? I don't know. I mean, I had female teachers for math in college, math, history, English, I think physics, chemistry. What the hell is she talking about?
The same can be said of non-white professors. Although many claim affirmative action to blame for letting undereducated and underdeserved individuals into college, it should be recognized that many groups are still severely underrepresented in higher education.
Okay, she said many groups are severely not represented in college. Okay, mouth agape, hello. So, because men are underrepresented in college per the population, it's because they're mediocre. They're underperforming. However, if a protected group is also underrepresented per their population in college, any ideas if she's going to say the same thing, that they're mediocre? Of course not.
Such as Alaskan Native and Native American individuals in higher learning whose participation is so low that it rounds to 0%.
So you're saying then that their performance is mediocre. Is that right? No, that only applies to white men. Ah, gotcha.
T-Mobile knows
Commercial.
whether you break down in the square or high on the edge.
Isn't this fun? Okay, let's see. Let me see. It breaks my heart that I can't even name more than 2 women who haven't been essayed or harassed. And there are people in this app defending R-word people at a possible... Okay. Uh-huh. You can't name more than 2 women who haven't been essayed or... That's kind of important, isn't it? He's trying to lump the 2 in. Now, harassment, street calling, groped in a bar, certainly a sexual assault. It's not R-word. We know what she's getting at when she says essay, right? A little bit of difference between that and some guy whistling at you on the street. But go ahead and lump them all together and say, look at the poor oppressed women. Kay's a Fox. All I got was blah, blah, blah. I know. Yeah, go ahead. And what is with all this weird music on TikTok? Just really? Imagine you go through all the trouble of typing this on your screen when you could just say it. But of course, then you wouldn't be showing your body off. Is that? Hey, Stone, you take it easy, man. Good to see you. Like I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. There's plenty of Gish Gallop to come.
Other claims of so-called female privilege, which stem from an attempt to equalize the sexes, centers around the publicization of the discussion of sexual assault.
Yes. It's a brutal thing, and no one, not one man who is normal in his head, doesn't understand that's a problem. And no one supports it. But go ahead and try to make it seem that way. Would you? Shrapnel, TikTok is cancer. Can't. Yeah.
For generations, sexual assault, harassment, and rape have been considered to be a crime against morality rather than against the individual, meaning that the crime itself was seen as a property crime, as the woman was viewed as the property of her husband or father, and often viewed as forgivable if the rapist married her.
Okay, did you Jesus Christ. It was viewed as a property crime because men owned their women. Oh my God, what kind of fucking shit is this? Oh my God.
Often, these crimes are covered up and not discussed, as to do so would reflect badly on the women harmed rather than the men who perpetrated them. However, in the past decade, the hashtag #MeToo movement has worked to publicize just how common the experience of assault is.
Yes, yes.
These are things that our exes did that we were conditioned into thinking were normal.
Who's smoking the carton of cigarettes there? Holy shit. James Young is here. Hello. Ian Blades is good to be back. Yeah, good to see you, man. Good to see you. And I'm going to look up that professor thing. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that men dominate in college anymore. I don't think that's true. I think her stats are coming from something 30, 40 years ago, maybe.
When he held me down and pinned me on his bed and told me I couldn't go home.
Okay, well, that would probably be some kind of crime. Did you report it? No.
I got my period, and he told me I couldn't wear tampons because he didn't want them to give me pleasure.
Okay.
Should I say something? I don't think I have to say anything. All I know is that if I speak, the Not All Men Brigade will be my comment section, trying to prove how they are the good ones and completely disregard the point.
Yeah, most men are not rapists. Most men do not sexually abuse women. Get it through your fucking head. Get it through your head.
As usual.
Many men have in turn felt threatened by the possibility of being accused of a crime they did not commit, despite all of the high-profile men accused of such crimes having had no impact on their careers or freedom.
Okay, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Yeah, is she trolling? Say it again.
Despite all of the high-profile men accused of such crimes having had no impact on their careers or freedom.
Really? Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, Senator Al Franken, the guy from NBC News, Charlie Rose, woebegone guy. No impact on their careers. This is just blind fucking bullshit. How could she not know about Weinstein or Senator Franken? What she's worried about is you know who, the liar Christine Blasey Ford. It's in her notes. That's what she's talking about.
Men and women alike fearfully believe in an imaginative, vengeful woman positioning
She's probably thinking about Bill Clinton. Yeah.
a false accusation for personal gain. In part due to the publicized trials wherein women gained the courage to speak out long after the crime was committed, and an erroneous belief that the current climate will be more forgiving and willing to listen.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, why aren't women reporting these crimes? That's a big, serious question. What is preventing women, if they're R-worded, from calling the police? What would that be? Let's identify that problem and fix it. Because anyone with half a brain cell in their head, they want men who go out and do these crimes to be rotting in fucking prison. Despite what you happen to believe about men, sweetheart. Despite what you think. We live in an R-word culture. Bullshit. We do not. Go on.
The nature of rape and coerced sex often makes it difficult to prove, particularly if one is of the belief that women inherently want sexual attention.
Okay.
However, men are more likely to be raped than accused of rape, with most crimes averaging false accusations at a rate of 2 to 8%.
How many times have we heard this fucking nonsense? This is where the Gish Gallop starts, right? The 2 to 8% number from the FBI is proven false allegations. Proven. Right? It didn't happen. There's evidence to show it didn't happen. What about two people alone in a room? She accuses him of something. There's no proof. Right? How do you prove that in court? Are you including all those cases where we don't know? Of course not. Now, if you hear this other number too, it's fake, but we'll just use it for the conversation here. If 90% of men accused of R word are not found guilty in a court of law under our legal system, what is that saying? Well, it's saying maybe it's a hard to prove thing. Mm-hmm. Or maybe there was no proof. Maybe it didn't happen. We don't know. It's very hard to prove something when there's only one person against the other. You understand that, right, sweetheart? No. Because the accusation should be all it takes, right?
And the rate of false accusations of rape centering around 2 to 6. If a woman were to make a false accusation, she would be prosecuted for wasting police time and perverting the course of justice.
Possibly in England, yes.
Most rapes aren't even reported, so it's likely the numbers for false accusations are even lower when taking those into consideration.
Okay, so she just throws it out as if it's everybody knows most rapes are not reported. Where's your data? If they're not reported, how do you know? I'll tell you how they know. The Mary Koss study back in the 90s. They assigned people as rape victims, whether they were raped or not. That's where the famous 1 in 5 bullshit comes from. That's where it comes from. They would say she was a victim if she had a drink before having actual intercourse with the man. That was rape. See, this is all made up fucking garbage. If something isn't reported to the police, how do you know it happened? You don't. You're taking a guess is what you're doing. That's what these people are doing. It's a crime survey. It's a guess. Statistical analysis. Okay?
For example, the Minnesota Law Review states, many more rapes or sexual assaults may go underreported. Some suggest only 8 to 10% of women report their rapes to the police.
Okay, many more. Some suggest. Who would that be? Somebody, just anybody on the street, just say, yeah, it's got to be that. No. And I looked into this Minnesota survey. I actually have it up here. And I won't show it to you. Minnesota Law Review. Men fear false allegations. Women fear sexual misconduct, assault, and rape. Okay? November 25th, 2018. Written by a staffer at the Minnesota Law Review. And, of course, the conclusion of all this at the end is Kavanaugh is a rapist. Right? Of course. Of course it is. Okay, let me get back to my screen. All right, go.
Leaving 90% of rapes unreported. While an estimated 2 to 8% of sexual assaults or rapes are falsely reported, this number than rapes. Therefore, the amount of false
Therefore and thus, yeah.
sexual 2 to 0.008%.
So let's just make some shit up. We think that something, at least 90% of them aren't reported. And so we'll just multiply some numbers together. You're bullshit. By the way, that report that you referenced for the Minnesota Law Review does not say that. By the way.
Other problems men cite are merely the impact of the patriarchy against those who wield it. Despite claims to the otherwise, the patriarchy benefits and is supported by all men.
All right, the patriarchy again. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the evil patriarchy, which has given women, Black Americans, minorities, all the rights they could ever possibly want. And for women and the fembots, it still isn't sufficient. Why would the evil patriarchy, supported by all men for the benefit of men, give women rights to do anything? I'm just curious.
Regardless of personal belief or intent. If the result of the system in turn limits or punishes men for not conforming to the rules set by the patriarchy, that is collateral damage, as the point of patriarchal systems is to control women. One problem that supposedly disproves this notion is...
Well, it's sure doing a hell of a bad job if that's what it's supposed to be doing. It ain't working. Adrian Alexander, or Alexandrov, whatever. I remember reading DOJ survey. Yeah, yes. Oh, yeah, once you start digging into these surveys and these statistics, yeah, they're not typically what they're not what they're advertised to be, certainly.
Is the breakdown of murder rates. Men are more likely to be murdered than women. However, many neglect to mention that men also commit approximately 88.7% of U.S. homicides.
Yes, and what's your point?
In other words, this is a male violence problem.
It is. Yeah, we need to do something about that. So we need more police in neighborhoods, and we need. Oh no, 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 no. We want to defund the police, don't we, little girl?
Not a matter of female privilege. Another common claim is that men make up the majority of dangerous professions. While this is true,
Get this now.
to an extent, it is once again due to male behavior, which punishes and pushes out women who try to work in those fields.
Right. So if a woman wants to be a lumberjack in Canada, men are just harassing her to the point where she just doesn't even want to. Oh my God, this is terrible. Maybe it's because it's hard fucking labor. Maybe women would rather do something else, and that's perfectly fine. Okay?
This commenter said, lots of tech bros whose fragile masculinity is tied solely to having to be better than women.
Okay, so this chick apparently works at Google. Remember that lawsuit a few years ago where the women sued Google because they were being paid less than men, and it turned out the men were actually being paid less than the women. Just a side note.
Nailed it. Fragile masculinity necessitates that men are financially and professionally outperforming women.
That's because we want to attract women, and women are attracted to guys who have resources. Duh. Okay?
Fragile men view their self-worth as intertwined with their ability to be the breadwinner and provide for a family.
Yep.
And to, at the bare minimum, even just attract or keep a partner.
Yes. Yes, dear. Correct.
Men who haven't been building
For those who want to attract a partner. For the MGTOW guys, I don't give a shit.
emotional intelligence.
They're getting fat stacks for themselves, and they're buying motorcycles and boats, and they're doing fun stuff with their lives other than dealing with this. Just saying.
Who haven't learned emotional regulation, who don't know how to connect emotionally.
Oh, God, here we go again. Zombro, she's brainwashed. Oh, you think? Oh, do you? Yeah, Mr. Hemi Speed, you know this is bullshit. No, men don't want to dig ditches. Men would rather not cut down trees in northern Canada, but somebody's got to do it. You know? Women just don't, they'd rather not do that. Fine, don't. But then don't sit here and say, well, it's because men oppress women, and that's why they're not lumberjacks. Nonsense. That's bullshit. Ghost RR says, did single mothers raise the majority of criminals? Yes. Yes, they did.
Who don't know how to build platonic friendships or even romantic relationships.
Right.
Are threatened by successful women.
No. Sorry, sweetheart. No.
Because their success was their one piece of leverage. Their one leverage for attracting, keeping, and providing for a partner. So as women are able to surpass men professionally in their achievements and their earned income.
Wait a minute. No. Come on now. Again, you get the contradictions always. We all know women are paid less, right? For the same damn job. So what you're saying is impossible. That's not possible because women earn 20 or 30, 25% less than men. Which one is it? Take a pick. It's binary. They make more than men or they make less. Tell me, which one is it? I gotta know.
It shatters men's sense of self, their reality, and it undermines everything they think they deserve.
They think we what do you deserve, guys? Do you think we deserve shit? Just because we're here? We should get no. See, that is a very feminine point of view. That's a female point of view. Because they indeed do get shit just for existing. Don't they? Yep.
Whether that be partnership or a woman's body.
Yeah, Rusty, I heard about that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do call-in shows, but I thought maybe I had the guy on last night, but it wasn't. It was a different man. He was a good guy. So anyway, Riggs is here. I smell zinc-filled rodent marinated in Guinness torpedoes. No. Yeah, you deserve equal rights under the law. That's right. Exactly, Spearman. And that's it. You're not entitled to shit. Except if you have a vagina, right?
Or a family. You can see this manifesting in the comment section of my posts.
Okay.
Where men who are entirely unfamiliar with my work, who
Mhm.
haven't worked with me on Classroom or even worked at Google
Ooh.
in most cases, show up to tell me that the field of work I've specialized in doesn't exist.
How would they know? Remember, a lot of things have happened over the last 10 years, sweetheart. Okay? Her field of work is data algorithmic something. She'll tell that's brand new. Okay? That just happened in the last 10 years, dear. Come on.
Because they can't fathom the scale of engineering that occurs at a place like Google.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hence why algorithmic data engineering might not exist outside of big tech companies like Google.
That's probably true. Yeah. Probably.
Or they incessantly question my achievements.
Okay.
They put me down by bringing up the fact that I was being gatekept at junior engineer despite a director having told me I was performing at L7 for
Yeah. My boss tells me that all the time. The only thing that matters is if you're performing at that level, they should put you at that level and keep you there. Get the raise, because if you're that fucking good, they're going to hold on to you. So the fact that you're at L3 and you're not L7, and I don't care what your director said, it ain't happening. Okay?
or levels above my work. So essentially, they're rubbing it in my face,
Uh-huh.
the nature of the psychological abuse I endured, which
Oh.
was recognized by the state of New York
Oh.
per my disability leave.
Oh, God. She's one of those. She was so stressed out at her $250,000 job, she had to take off. Oh, my God.
It's why men are so angry about me commanding a $500,000 salary.
Mm.
I'm not even earning that yet. But the fact that I am in a position that men can no longer talk down to me
Oh.
because I have surpassed the skill, the ability, the achievements of so many of them makes them angry.
Mm.
If I wasn't someone that these men wanted to sleep with, they wouldn't feel this way, despite the fact I don't want to sleep with them.
Women
I see. So you think they're trying to I don't even know what to say about her. Yeah. Well, if I were you and I worked at Google, I don't think I'd be putting up TikToks. I'm just saying. Well, you have a little immunity because you got at least 2 victim points. I still don't think I'd be putting my face all over the internet. I'm just saying. Just saying.
women often have their equipment sabotaged, are subject to sexual harassment and bullying.
Okay.
For example, in emergency services, female firefighters often face discriminatory practices.
Mm.
One interview details how a female firefighter was hired but given a 90-day probationary period. For men, it was 30. Then the gear theft and tampering.
Okay, well, let's just talk about that for a minute here. Let's think of all the things that could have stretched out the probationary period. Maybe she could only do part-time. Maybe she only worked a few days a week. She wasn't full-time yet because she had other obligations. Is there anything it could possibly be other than sexism? Yeah? Okay, now it gets worse, and I agree with her here. Listen to this.
Spring started. Her gloves, hoods, and radio vanished. Her mask was sabotaged. She found what was appeared to be semen on her bed. Clothes continued to be stolen and destroyed. Word of the harassment rose all the way to Mayor Don McLaury, and the department issued a warning against equipment tampering, but nothing substantively changed.
Okay, well, that's at least it got up to the authority. Now, I can't verify whether things changed or not, but it certainly, if that stuff was going on, that's horrible. And normal human beings would not agree or cheer such activity like that. No, that's wrong. The people who shot loads on her bed or whatever, they should be fired. So the fact that they weren't maybe tells me, maybe there wasn't any proof of all this stuff. Just saying, in this day and age, come on now. Come on, sweetie. Come on. You know.
A recent federal investigation into the abuse of Megan Hall illustrated the extent of grooming and abusive behaviors directed at women when joining male-dominated fields.
Grooming behavior. Yeah, Zombro is here. FDNY extended the probation period to 3 women because they failed the physical exam. Okay. So that might be one thing, too. It's like, look, you didn't meet our standards. We're going to hire you, but we're going to put you on 90 days. Certainly. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Then they shouldn't be complaining. They say, hey, we fucked up the entrance exam, but I still got a job. No. It's oppression of the women.
Prostitution has a higher death rate than mining, listed as the most dangerous and male dominated profession.
You could be the zinc dispenser there, Riggs.
Other fields which are predominantly female, such as sweatshop workers, also face high levels of danger and mortality.
Sweatshop workers in the United States. Right. Oh, you're talking about the people in China that are abused? Working for slave wages for 12, 15 hours a day to make your iPhone? Yeah? You care about those people? No.
Other so-called problems are not really men's problems at all.
Oh.
For example, one of the most common arguments is that women receive custody of their children far more often during a divorce.
Uh-huh. And?
This is because men are less likely to seek custody.
Oh.
Men
sure.
who do seek custody tend to be abusive and tend to receive custody when they ask for it.
Hmm.
Fathers who actively seek custody obtain either primary or joint physical custody over 70% of the time.
Now, conveniently, our creator is referencing a study done in Massachusetts in the year of 1990, which would lead me to believe their statistics were sometime in the 60s and 70s and maybe 80s. Do we believe, young lady, do we believe that anything has changed for the last 50 fucking years? You think that statistics from the 1970s are relevant today? Just curious. The link is in the in her video. It's the Massachusetts something from 1990. Statistics from 50 years ago. Yeah, I think things are a little different these days. Just saying.
It's not fair for fathers. Mothers can literally say one thing and you'll never see your kid again. Let's talk about this. A gender trap. When mothers allege child abuse by father, mothers often lose custody, study shows.
I wonder what kind of fucking weird survey this is. A man gets accused of some kind of abuse and the mother loses the kid. Come on now. What are you
This
talking
is the actual
about?
study. U.S. custody outcomes and cases involving parental alienation and abuse allegations. What does the data show? But back to this Washington Post article. This mother had alleged abuse against the father's child. He was then awarded full
Against the father's child. Now, is that a little bit of a indication that maybe it wasn't her child? They didn't say their child, the parent's child. They said the father's child. And so if it indeed was the father's child and she was the stepmother, why would you expect her to get custody? Just curious. How does that work?
full custody under the guise of parental alienation, and months later, their child was found dead, and he pled guilty of capital murder.
And I mean, that's a terrible situation, and it's horrible for the kid and the family. It's terrible. But again, you're picking out a cherry-picked corner case that doesn't even really make sense. Was it his biological child and not hers? Why would you expect her to get custody of a child that wasn't even hers? It doesn't matter.
This is a quote from the mother. "You wait until the child has been seriously harmed, and in my case, dead, before the evidence reaches the threshold."
Spearman has a good comment here. Happens every time a society becomes too enlightened and safe, women demand to take control. That's right. They wait till everything is safe. The bears are all killed. There's no tigers out eating. Oh, well, now we want to be in charge. Yeah. And guess what? We're letting them. Garrett Grant is here. Hello, Garrett. Mouth agape. Way more kids are killed by their mothers. And yeah, absolutely. That's very true. I don't have the statistic in front of me, but I'm sure we could look it up and find those if we had to. Go ahead.
Here's some stats. When it came to child abuse specifically, courts were even less likely to believe mothers and children's claims, 21% of the time for child physical abuse and 19% of the time for child sexual abuse.
Again, what fucking decade is this from? Where are these stats from? From the 1960s, 1970s? Maybe. But we don't live there anymore. We're 50 years down the road. Things have changed.
Mothers lost custody 28% of the time, but when fathers alleged abuse, they lost custody only 12% of the time. And so what is parental alienation? Parental alienation is the accusation that one parent is undermining or damaging the relationship between the child and the other parent.
What I find funny about these TikToks is that they think they're reinventing the wheel here. Oh my God, look how, whoa, you're a child. You're a child. You got a couple of semesters of college and you think you know everything. Oh my God. You don't know statistics. I can tell you that.
Alienation is used overwhelmingly to punish mothers who accuse fathers of abuse. Mothers are often accused of leveling false abuse allegations merely.
Michelle Guevara says 78% of children killed in the world each year are killed by their mothers. Source is the United Nations International Children's Fund, WHO, Save the Children. 78%. Now, if you add abortion in, oh, it's a whole different ballgame.
To alienate the children from the father.
Exactly. It's here to save the world. Super Turbo Death Shark.
Women are expected to behave as mothers, but then they come in and say, I'm trying to protect my child, then they're not believed. You're just in a trap, and it's a gendered trap.
Right.
Here's some stats that show that the alienation defense is being used to get mothers to lose custody battles and how this is becoming an exponential problem.
Yeah, thanks, Zombro. Good to see you. Have a good day.
To quote from the conclusion, the data supported the widespread critiques of family court proceedings, sending children into the care of destructive and dangerous parents, the gender disparity in how much more powerfully alienation claims work for fathers as opposed to mothers. So yes, gender court is not fair, but that's not the fault of women. It is quite literally the fault of patriarchy and misogyny and the way that masculinity has been defined as the antithesis of femininity.
No, you're right. It is the patriarchy, whatever's left of it, that has made the court the way it is in favor of women because the patriarchs listen to the fucking fembots. That's why. Because men are evil, etc., and so on.
Traditional gender roles paint women as being nurturers who take care of the home and the child, and men as the breadwinners. And as these ideals run rampant in our society, it's not hard to see how this ideal has been put into our family court.
No, it's because you don't even know what you're talking about, dear. That's why. Results-oriented. Hello. Mothers are losing custody battles. Why was I not informed? Yeah. And they probably were back in 1963.
So yes, family court and custody battles need to be reformed in how they are decided because there should absolutely be no gendered bias in them at all. It should be all about what is the best case scenario for the child.
Mm-hmm. Split custody 50-50. Best case is that they stay married. But it should be presumed 50-50 custody, shared from the beginning. Now, why is it not? Can you say child support?
And so if you want to fix these problems, work towards dismantling the patriarchy.
Oh, she'll get there.
And unlearning your misogyny and helping other people unlearn theirs because misogyny hurts everyone. Mm-hmm. And in this case, it hurts fathers and mothers.
Right.
It's not fair for fathers. Mothers.
Battered women are also far less likely to receive custody. In 82% of the disputed custody cases, fathers achieve sole custody despite the fact that only 13% had been involved in childcare activities prior to divorce. Moreover, 59% of fathers who won custody litigation had abused their wives, and 50% of fathers who obtained custody through private negotiations had abused their wives.
Mm-hmm. Of course they have, because that's, women are always victims about everything. Don't we know? Results-oriented. Why is this child speaking on this? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. Courts don't give a shit about children. They want that sweet, sweet money. Mm-hmm. What is the cut that the state takes from the child support? 20%. It's a big number. We know that. Can someone give me her dealer? She's off the. Uh-huh.
If anything, there is a bias towards men in custody battles when they choose to take in them. Another.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Tim Elgato. Fucking hell, I need to hit the gym. Feel my testosterone going. I hear you, man.
Another common argument is that women abuse kids more often than men. By majority, they mean 53.5%, which is an interesting number because more than 80% of child abuse is carried out by a parent. Women head the majority of families, but when men are involved, they're disproportionately likely to inflict abuse despite technically making up a smaller percentage of total abusers.
Mm-hmm.
In other words,
right.
Households with both a man and a woman make up 69% of total parent arrangements. 23% are single mother households, while single father households make up just 4%.
Mm-hmm.
So despite women being present...
And you were saying, whoa. Hold on now. Hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Let's listen to that again.
Both a man and a woman make up 69% of total parent arrangements. 23% are single mother households, while single father households make up just 4%.
So, so single mothers, assuming this is some kind of divorce thing, single mothers get. Wait a minute. No. Single fathers get custody more often. Yet only 4% of children live with a single father. 23% live with a single mother. I don't think the math is working out. I think your math is fucked up.
So despite women being present in 92% of parenting arrangements, while men are present in just 73%, men still manage to commit almost half of child abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Child abusers are numerically more likely.
Almost half. Women commit more than half. You just said it.
To be female, but when you consider that 90% of the time child caregivers are female and only 10% of the time child caregivers are male, the likelihood of individual female or male to abuse children is tipped in the favor of men.
Max K, I have not dated a single. Well, I thought about it, but then I got my brains back and said, no, no poon yeety is worth that.
Men are nearly 4 times as likely to abuse children.
And she was one of those intentionally single, not even married, right? She just wanted to have her baby. Kind of like getting a dog.
Access to than women are. Homelessness is a rather large issue in many cities, and while single men are more likely than single women to become homeless, a large number of homeless women are invisible due to the danger of being female and without shelter.
Not only that, women have shelters to go to. So if there's a single woman or a woman on the street, there's something seriously fucking wrong with that person. Some mental illness, some drug problem or something. Because there's a women's shelter on every corner in a big city in the United States. Cut the bullshit.
The combination of the two leads to higher cases of assault and rape, which is why many women choose instead to couch search or rely on exchanging sex for housing, which hides the total number of homeless women.
Mm-hmm. In the United States, with the vast welfare system, with the shelters, with free money given out, especially to women with children, what are you even talking about? What are you talking about?
One only has to look at their local Craigslist ads to realize how many men are aware of this and choose to take advantage of women in need.
Women in need could also go get a fucking job, couldn't they? Come on.
In terms of families, 34% of the homeless population are families, and 84% of those families are female-headed. Homeless women are far more likely to be responsible for the care of a child under the age of 18 than a man.
Mm-hmm.
Others argue that women perceive privilege due to being less likely to participate in combat and have less recorded deaths during war. Combat deaths exclude women because women in most countries are not allowed to be in combat. Therefore, most women who die during war are counted as civilian deaths. Women are also most likely to die.
Excuse
after
me. No.
Combat
No.
To 29% of
Where's my
total deaths
window?
related to wartime.
One more game.
In 82% of the disputed custody cases, fathers achieve sole custody despite the fact that only 13% have been a number of homeless women. One only has to look at their local Craigslist ads to realize how many men are aware of this and choose to take advantage of women in need. In terms of families, 34% of the homeless population are families, and 84% of those families are female-headed. Homeless women are far more likely to be responsible for the care of a child under the age of 18 than a man. Others argue that women perceive privilege due to being less likely to participate in combat and have less recorded deaths during war. Combat deaths exclude women because women in most countries are not allowed to be in combat. Therefore, most women who die during war are counted as civilian deaths.
Shut up. Okay. Note specifically what she just said. Okay. Again, this is the way you got to play this game.
Therefore, most women who die during war are counted as civilian deaths.
Women who are civilians who die during war are counted as civilian deaths. Yes. Women who are in the military who die during a military event are not counted as civilians. That is utter bullshit. Okay? If they're in the military, they're in a uniform, and they unfortunately get killed, they're counted as a military death. Okay, so she's playing with words here. Well, women aren't allowed in combat, so they don't even count when they die in the war. Bullshit. Bullshit. I don't even have to look up a statistic. It's bullshit.
Women are also most likely to die after a conflict is officially over than during the conflict itself.
You know, Ghost, I wasn't going to have any beer today, but, you know, I'm thinking maybe I need to crack a cold one.
Combat deaths comprise only 2 to 29% of total deaths related to wartime, which means that 71 to 98% of all wartime deaths happen after the conflict is officially over, typically caused by things like infectious disease and traffic accidents due to the damage to infrastructure that inevitably follows a war.
I don't even know what she's saying anymore. Again, it's a Gish Gallop. It's impossible to keep up when they're firing at statistics at you like a machine gun. You know, that's the idea.
These deaths are primarily seen in women and children. In a study by Plumper and Neumeier, armed conflict was demonstrated to have a statistically significant and adverse effect on women, as measured by the decline in the ratio of female to male life expectancy.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, normally women live longer than men in almost all societies. Studies in the gender gap is interpreted as suggesting that the direct and indirect consequences of conflict combined either kill more women or that the killed women are younger on average. The authors therefore concluded that wars negatively affected women more than men when taking into account the entire conflict cycle. While more men than women die in combat, this is also because in the vast majority of combat zones, even in recent history, women were specifically barred from being considered active combatants, making them more likely to be counted among civilian casualties than military casualties.
You are fucking lying. Anyone in here was in the military? If you're a female, a military member in uniform and you get killed in a war, you're not counted. Who the fuck believes that? That's bullshit. I'm sorry. That's bullshit. Okay? It's nonsense.
Comprise approximately 90% of all wartime deaths.
First thing I'm going to show you is how FGM type 1 happens. Yeah? So
I'm not sure we want to do any more of this. I think I've had enough. Now, let's go look at this man here. Now, I just wanted to cover this real quick. Yeah, there's no hope left with that one. She is thoroughly and completely indoctrinated into bullshit. There's no saving that chick. It's not going to happen for her. She's going to be a bitter, angry, confused person her entire life. And I actually feel sorry for her to some degree because she is gone, man. She is gone. Sergeant Grinch says the U.S. has less than 1.5 million war deaths in our entire history. Since abortion started in the 60s, it's 50 million or more. Yep. But that's different because it's their choice, right? So have you guys seen this Elon Musk interview? It's must-see TV.
Rich people get away with all the time that average, ordinary, everyday folks almost never get away with. I just saw a video with Elon Musk being interviewed by a BBC reporter. And the BBC reporter asked him very, very underhanded.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of, come on. Oh, now I'm getting the spinning circle. Oh, great. Here, hold on. We might be able to have to find another one here. Hold on. Hold your horses. Let's see. Elon, whoops. Musk. BBC. It's not that BBC. It's the other one. Let's see. Is it on this one? Let's see if we can find it here. I want the video. Where's the video? Oh, come on. Hold on. I thought I had it pulled up, but I don't. YouTube.com. Yeah. Come on. Oh, there's our live stream right there. The Gish-iest of Gish Gallops. Oh, no. All right. Elon Musk. Anyway, if you haven't seen this interview, it's worth it. Musk. BBC. Yeah. Let's see if we can find it. Okay. The 5, Elon Musk humiliates the BBC reporter. Oh, Crowder.
They don't want you to know this.
Whoa.
It's legit. Like, it's
That's loud. Holy
not,
crap.
I'm not like, I don't know how they do it.
I don't care how they do it. Go.
If you try to take on the world's richest man, you better come prepared. Elon Musk humiliating a liberal media reporter who accused him of letting hate speech run wild on Twitter. Watch.
You must have at some point seen the for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
You can't give us a single one.
And I'm saying...
Then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet. And yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed...
He just lied.
Yeah, of course he did. And he lied again at a certain. Well, I haven't been on that feed for so long, and he was on the fucking thing, and they showed tweets. He was on earlier in the day before. It's just so nonsense. I mean, unbelievable. So we have all this hate speech, just like your MRAs or the RP guys or whatever. They're all hateful, Nazi, white misogynist, supremacist pizzas. Do you have any evidence of that's what I heard? I mean, do you have any evidence to support that? Well, I mean, geez, that's the way these people play this game.
Katie, I think now everyone that's being interviewed by some liberal...
I wanted to see more of the interview.
Should just turn it around on the jerk.
Damn it. Let's go back. I want to find the whole thing. Let's see. Everybody's destroying. Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe there's more on this. Let's see here.
NPR has had it with Elon Musk's shenanigans as the first major news organization.
You know where this all started, right? NPR has been classified as a government-funded news outlet on Twitter, just like Russia Today and some of these other ones. For years, they've been saying, "Hey, this is government-funded." Well, now NPR is getting the same sticker. Why is this a problem? Because they are government-funded. I know, it's crazy. Same with what's it, NPR, and what's the other one? Public radio, and there's another friggin' thing. They left Twitter because they're going to have that tag that they're government funded. Why is that a problem for people to know? Why shouldn't we know if they are publicly funded? Hey, well, let's listen to their thing.
To leave Twitter after billionaire Elon Musk's acquisition of the site.
Yeah.
This comes after NPR was given the label state-affiliated media and then subsequently labeled government-funded media after some backlash. NPR claims the amended label is inaccurate and misleading, given that...
Bullshit. NPR is funded by the government. Just like the CBC is funded by the government. The ABC in Australia is funded by the government. BBC is funded by TV tax. I mean, come on, people.
NPR is a private
and the government
profit company with editorial independence. It receives less than 1%.
Oh my God. It's breathtaking, the bullshit. Oh my God. Let me go back. Oops, got the wrong key there. Hey, hamster, stop spilling beer on your keyboard. Okay. Yeah, public broadcast system. Liars. God almighty, I don't even believe this.
Is a private nonprofit company with editorial independence. It receives less than 1% of its $300 million annual budget from the federally funded Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
But they still get government money, don't they? So what's your fucking point? They get money from the government. That's what Elon is saying. Of course, it's a slap at them as well. We know that, but that's Elon, right? He's kind of like that.
NPR's official statement reads that the site under Musk is taking action that undermine our credibility, and we are not putting our journalism on platforms that have demonstrated an interest in undermining our credibility.
Have you ever listened to NPR? Anyone? Anyone? It's so fucking far left. It's not even funny.
So, a lot of people threaten to quit Twitter and, in fact, get made fun of because they never really do. No one quits Twitter. They come back after a few minutes.
It is government propaganda. Of course it is, Sergeant Grinch. Now, they might get, God only knows who sends them money, but sure, they get the majority of their funding from their listeners, but they're still getting money from the government. Just give that money back to the government and just go on your own. No,
Yeah, it's a
If they ever leave
it's
at
a
all.
kind of temper tantrum.
Yeah.
I will say, however,
That is correct, Tom Laundry. If the government does anything to what you're working on, it is a government program. Sorry.
Given all the kind of dysfunction going on, the platform, to my mind, is offering less value. And we're going to talk about this a little later. But
now we're going to slam Twitter. How could you? Elon Musk is the first major CEO of Twitter that's African American. Oh,
even the value is providing in terms of the disclosures and revelations regarding the previous ownership, the Twitter files.
Yeah, let's see if we can find the friggin' interview. I don't want to hear these people spew bullshit. The Hill is rather left-wing as well. Not as bad as some, but they have their moments. Okay, let's go here. Go.
The so-called rise of hateful content on Twitter. This was just last night. Let's watch some of that conversation.
Well, hang on a second. You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
then how did you see that hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed,
you just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that kind of information is on the rise. Now,
I see there are other people that say it. Okay.
Whether it has on my
Give me
feed
one
or
example.
not. I mean, right, and
Literally
you can look
can't
at
name
someone
one.
like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK. They will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right.
Yep. Because. Yeah. Pretty amazing. That was choice, though. You know, Musk is kind of like that. He's like, you're lying. Just name one tweet. All you'd have to do is say, "Oh, Donald Trump said this about somebody. They're hateful." Right? Nothing. He couldn't come up with anything because he doesn't see it because it's not happening. And if it is, their wide definition of what's hateful likely encompasses just about everything they disagree with. Aha. They don't like to be. They don't like to have another outlet for people to talk. They don't like that. They want to be the sole arbiter of things that get on the news, don't they? What's going on, SCE? Let's see. I got to go back in time here. What's going on? Funny, the SEC, they're desperate to discredit men that walk. Yeah, there was a an article or something that came out that people who talk about red pill or man stuff, or we're all terrorists. We're on a watch list now, so clearly they don't want MGTOW to be talked about because, terrorism, shit like that. All right, 12:57. I think we'll wrap it up. I think Hammerhand's doing his Sunday sermon at 6:20 Central Time, 7:20 Eastern tonight. So probably see you there. All right. You guys take it easy. See you later.